Hi, welcome to this week's vlog, and thank you so much to those of you who've subscribed and told your friends. And we've got a great competition coming up a bit later, so watch to the end and I'll tell you how you can just leave me a comment and be entered into a prize draw to win some fantastic prizes. So what are we going to talk about this week? Well, first off, I wanted to tell you about this amazing company that I've probably already mentioned before to some of you. You might have even seen videos that I've done. They're called AOS and Aura Soma, and they're one of the sponsors actually in the Janie Loves Platinum Awards. So because of that, I've been getting to know a little bit more about them, and I got the opportunity to interview the founder, Mike Booth, for my UK Health Radio show. Now, you might be aware of this company because if you've ever been to have a therapeutic massage treatment, or you've had a session with a healer, I mean, of course, not all of them, but a lot of people have this amazing array of beautiful coloured bottles on the shelves, and these are Aura Soma colour therapy bottles. And it's the most bizarre sight, just these incredible bottles, which are usually dual colours. You can see another one of my videos where I'm showing the bottle. Anyways, I wanted to know a little bit more about the background to this company, so I interviewed Mike Booth, and he just reminded me how incredible the beginnings of this company was, because basically there was this a woman called Vicky Wall who was registered blind. This was in the late 70s, and she was a clairvoyant, and she worked in apothecary, and I think she also worked, I forget what it was, I think she was a podiatrist. But anyway, she obviously had these incredible energies, and she decided to create these blends, and she did this just completely energetically and created these blends of oil and water, and eventually they became essential oils and herbal extracts. And what transpired was these unbelievably beautiful colours that, of course, she had seen in a kind of clairvoyant way. And Mike took over the company when she died in, I think it was 1983. And the company are now worldwide. The products are sold in 54 countries. And in addition to the Aura Soma colour therapy bottles, there's also the AOS skincare, which stands for Active Energised Organic Skincare. So what's really interesting, because at this point you're thinking, well, yes, so what? There's loads of companies that make essential oils and skincare. But what is really interesting is that everything is based on biodynamic farming. And they have a biodynamic farm in Lincolnshire where they grow everything. And it's just absolutely fascinating, the stuff he was telling me. I can't wait to go. I'm definitely gonna visit and bring you a video from there, because they obviously use all the biodynamic principles. They've created copper ploughs. They have chakra fields. And he was telling me all about one of the chakra areas of the farm that they call the golden area, which relates to the third chakra, and that's where they plant calendula. Well, you would, wouldn't you? So can you just imagine how that would look? Of course, calendula has been used for thousands of years and as a healing ingredient in skincare. And I just thought it was just an amazing story, and be really interested to know what you think about it. I don't know if you've tried AOS products or indeed the Aura Soma colour therapy, but anyway, check out the interview when it comes out on UK Health Radio, and I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you have experienced the colour therapy, it'd be really interesting to know how you found it. I know years ago I had a treatment, a massage, an aromatherapy massage, but before we did the massage I had a consultancy, a consultant from Aura Soma worked with me and showed me this range of, as I say, 115 amazing colours, and said just choose what resonates with you. And I chose a couple of colours, and of course they were absolutely pertinent to what was going on in my life. So yeah, amazing company, check them out. I think you'll really love the stuff that they do. So the other thing I want to talk about, which is not related in any way, was that last week, as you may know, it was quite a stressful week in many ways in the UK, and I noticed this piece in the press about how 90%, almost 90% of women have suffered stress, which has resulted in tummy troubles. And it was a really interesting report because they were making this definite link between the crosstalk, if you like, from the brain to the gut. And they were saying that, it really is obvious that mental well-being affects your digestive health. Now, of course, there's nothing new to me about that. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? If we feel upset or really terrified, you immediately can get that feeling in your tummy that something's wrong and that you don't feel well, and it results in physical symptoms, not just what's going on in your head. But I was staggered that it was almost 90% of women have suffered from this. So I think there's real stuff going on at the moment with high stress levels coupled with digestive problems. In a sense, they're two separate things, but maybe they aren't. And in the Mintel report, they said that 45% of that 90% of women had looked to natural remedies to sort out their discomfort and their symptoms by using things like ginger tea. So that's good, because obviously they're not reaching for medication. But I just wonder what else can be done, because this is clearly a massive phenomenon that 90% of women are suffering from tummy problems linked directly to stress. So one thing I want to do on this vlog is have a real in-depth look at digestive health. We'll probably do more than one vlog on it, because I really want to look at this impact of good bacteria in the gut. I'm sure you've read loads about it lately, but this whole concept of how we need to repopulate our gut with the good bacteria, because the stress takes the good stuff away, the antibiotics, the depletion of the soil, etc. All that stuff takes away all the good bacteria. So we do have to work a little bit harder at putting some of it back. And obviously we'll talk about things like probiotics, and the really good probiotics that not just sort of land in the stomach and then the stomach acid kills them off, but really good probiotics that arrive and survive in the gut. So we'll look at that, and we'll also look at things like fermented foods. I mean, such a simple way of replacing that good bacteria that often we've forgotten about. Now, I haven't yet managed to perfect making my own sauerkraut, but I know someone who does, so I'm going to get the lowdown and have a go. Meanwhile, I just buy the raw stuff, which is fantastic. And I don't even think it's an acquired taste. I think it tastes amazing. You just have a tablespoonful with your evening meal, and it's a really good way of just starting that fermented food process. And also, of course, kefir is another really easy way of getting high probiotic value in a drink form. And you can buy kefir. Chuckling Goat do goat's milk kefir, or of course you can make your own as well. And you need kefir grains, and you have to kind of feed it with milk, or you can get water-based kefir as well. But we're going to look into that. Again, I'm going to try and get you some real top tips and a proper recipe for exactly how you can make your own kefir if you've got those kefir grains. So all of these things are great for the digestive health. And back on the stress, which of course, however beautifully populated your gut is, if you're still massively stressed, these problems are just going to continue. And so I think this is the really big question, is how do you manage your stress and how do you relax? Because I can understand why that report said 90% of women, because most of us are just bonkers busy and just take on way too much responsibility. And in caring for everyone else, we can often forget to take care of ourselves. And it's that old adage, isn't it, that you have to recharge your own batteries. It took me ages to get a handle on this one, but how important it is to really just recharge those batteries and do the things that you need to build you back up again, and to just step out of that manic zone, even if it's for a very short amount of time. And I always say to people, really lock into what you think is the resource that you need, because it's different for everybody. One of my friends has to have an open fire every single day of the year. She has to have an open fire, whether that's an indoor open fire or an outdoor fire. So much so that, she won't book into a hotel unless they do have an open fire. And in the summer, obviously, she spends a lot of her time outside by fire pits. And that's her thing, and she's recognised that's her thing, and it's really important to her. And so I would really ask you, what's yours? What's your thing? What's your resource? For me, it's the sea. And that's not that easy because I live in Hertfordshire, I don't live by the sea. But I've actually had to make it my priority to put it in my diary so that, you know, once a month I try and make it to the sea. Might only be for a couple of hours, might be that I can get on a train, do some work on the train, get my blast of the sea, and then I just feel like a different person and I can kick back in again. So I just ask you what your resource is and make sure that you're honouring what that resource is for you. It might just be a walk in nature. It might be being in your own garden. It might be having a bath by candlelight or just having a bath. But whatever it is, you have to do it. You have to make time for it and you have to schedule it in. And I'd be really interested to know what it is that you find helps you to relax and just step away from that absolute kind of hamster wheel of stress, which, as this report has shown, is making us ill. So, you know, this is not just about pampering ourselves. Actually, the stress is making us ill and we really have to do something about it. So I'd love to know your ideas, because it might be that you've thought of something else, some little thing that makes a difference that I haven't thought of yet or that someone else hasn't thought of yet. So please subscribe if you're not already and leave me a comment as to what it is that you find just boosts your spirits, from the little things to the big things. What is it that helps you to relieve your stress? Keep it clean, obviously. And I look forward to receiving your suggestions. So it's competition time, and if you are willing to leave those comments, I would love to have you subscribed and leaving us a comment, and everyone who does that will be entered into a prize draw, and we've got some great prizes. So first up, we have 3 of my books. So this is the first one, Imperfectly Natural Woman. This was the Bible for some people. I had a little bit of a bet with my kids that they wouldn't find this in the charity shop for the first few years that it came out. I said, you won't find it in the charity shop, because lots of people have said to me that they find it really useful. There's lots of useful tips in this book, so they haven't given it away to the charity shop. But then on the other hand, you see, one might say, well, if your book's in the charity shop, that's when you've really made it, because then anyone can find you. Anyway, whatever, it is chock full of information. You'll also win this, which is the pocketbook kind of gift book version of Imperfectly Natural Woman, but it's also updated from that book, and it has lots of new little DIY skincare recipes, hair care recipes, and lots of recipes for really nice yummy goodies like raw chocolate treats. And then you'll also get the most recent book, which is Look Great Naturally Without Ditching the Lipstick. This is the one that's published by Hay House. This is the most recent one, absolutely chock full of great tips and ideas, and other people's tips and ideas too. And again, lots of suggestions for great products and services, but also lots of things you can just make. So this is not always about spending money. There's masses of great, very simple recipes here. So one prize is all 3 of these books signed by me. So you'll make sure you give me your name, and if you've left a comment for me and you've subscribed and you go into the prize draw and I pick you out, then obviously I'll contact you and sign the books for you and make sure you win that prize. We're also going to have another prize, which is going to be a bundle of fantastic organic skincare. I can't show it to you because I don't know what it is yet, but you just got to trust me, it'll be fantastic. So a whole bundle of natural and organic skincare worth around £75, something like that, maybe a bit more. And then a third prize, again, not necessarily in order, of course, but another prize, which will be a whole bunch of natural hair care. So I'm guessing I'll almost certainly sneak in some Tabitha James Cran product there. So it's really beautiful, beautiful organic hair care. So 3 fabulous prizes, and all you have to do is subscribe and just leave me a little comment. It can be 1 word, it can be a sentence or 2, and just give us some tips and ideas as to what you do to relax and what it is that feels, you know, really important for you. And so this week's Inside Out tip, I promised you this. What I said was that the inside tip every week will be about nutrition, so what you're putting inside your body. But then again, it might just be what's inside your home. I haven't thought that one out yet. I'll make it up as I go along. And then the outside tip is what's outside your body. So that's the skincare and the hair care. But then again, it might be what's outside your home in your environment. Anyways, This week then, we've already touched on it. The inside tip is see if you can introduce, if you're not already, some fermented foods into your diet, because it's super simple. You can just have a little bit of sauerkraut or kimchi or kefir. So that's your top tip for the inside. And for the outside, the top tip is at this time, we need insect repellent. Really, we do. I'm noticing so many little mozzies and various things. And the word on the street is, Zika virus across Europe, and everyone feels really panicky about insects. And the trick is use a natural insect repellent. Seriously, don't even think about the toxic ones. They really, A, are potentially toxic, and B, don't work. They really don't work. Trust me, I know. I get big time bitten. I have been so attractive in the past to insects that I have been absolutely bitten and have holidays ruined. And I've tried everything. I've even tried, because I am imperfect, the ones that are conventional, and trust me, they don't work. Despite being chock full of DEET, they don't work. I now know about the one that does work, and it's called Incognito, and I've got lots of other blog posts about it and various videos that you can look into, but it really works. Incognito is completely natural, completely safe, it's been clinically proven, and it absolutely works. So that's the outside tip. Grab yourself some Incognito and keep the mozzies away and at bay. Subscribe, and I'll see you next week.